free.
Hey there, my beautiful women of the world. Welcome to my first short podcast. Today I am asking the question, does menopause signify the end of the road? It's a powerful question because it quietly dismantles a myth. Stardom, influence, creative brilliance, these are not the preserve of youth. For many women, the menopausal years mark not an ending, but a sharpening of voice, of vision, of self-possession. Some remarkable women whose recognition, cultural impact, or defining success emerged during or after that threshold are Helen Mirren. Her global acclaim surged in her 60s, especially with The Queen 2006, which earned her an Academy Award. Mirren became a symbol of mature sensuality and authority, redefining what leading roles look like for older women. While respected earlier, her true mainstream dominance came in her 50s with How to Get Away with Murder. Her Emmy win was historic, and her presence, unapologetically powerful, reshaped narratives around age, race, and depth in performance. Viola Davis. While respected earlier, her true mainstream dominance came in her 50s with How to Get Away with Murder. Her Emmy win was historic, and her presence, unapologetically powerful, reshaped narratives around age, race, and depth in performance. Vera Wang. She didn't even enter fashion design until age 40, and built her empire well into midlife and beyond. Her most iconic global influence flourished in her 50s and 60s, proof that reinvention can be the main act, not the encore. Toni Morrison. Although she began publishing earlier, Morrison's most profound recognition, including the Nobel Prize in Literature, came in her 60s. Her voice deepened with time, carrying the weight of history, memory, and truth. Julia Child. She didn't become a household name until her 50s. Her television presence, warm, bold, unpretentious, revolutionized how people related to food, learning, and imperfection. Diana Nyad. At 64, she became the first person to swim from Cuba to Florida without a shark cage. Not traditional stardom, perhaps, but a moment of global awe that reframed endurance, aging, and possibility. Meryl Streep. Already acclaimed, yet her cultural dominance only intensified post-50. Roles like the Iron Lady and Big Little Lies show a sustained, and even expanding, creative force through later life. Oprah Winfrey. Though famous earlier, Oprah's most strategic power moves, launching OWN, expanding her empire, came in midlife and beyond, where influence became legacy. A quiet pattern beneath the surface. What ties these women together is not simply timing, it's authority. By midlife, many had shed the need to conform. Their work became cleaner, bolder, less apologetic. They were no longer asking for permission. Menopause, in biological terms, marks a transition. In lived experience, it often coincides with a psychological shift, a reduced tolerance for noise, and a heightened clarity about what matters. And sometimes, that clarity is exactly what the world has been waiting for. There is a moment in a woman's life when the noise falls away. What remains is signal. In that signal, many do not begin, they arrive. If we trace this across the specific fields of writers, healers, entrepreneurs, performers, a pattern emerges, not just success, but archetypal embodiment. These women become living symbols, each carrying a distinct current of power. Writers, the oracle, the truth keeper. Toni Morrison, the oracle. In her later years, her voice became mythic. She did not just write stories, she revealed buried truths of collective memory. Maya Angelou, the witness. Her later life presence carried the authority of lived experience. She spoke as one who had walked through fire and named it. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the story weaver. Rising into wider influence in midlife, she bridged psychology and myth, restoring the wild feminine voice. Archetypal thread. The writer at this stage does not seek approval. She becomes a vessel. Language flows through her, not from her. Healers, the alchemist, the wise woman. Louise Hay, the self-love alchemist. Her greatest influence came later, teaching that thought reshapes body and life. Caroline Myss, the medical mystic. Her work deepened with age, mapping energy, archetypes, and illness into a coherent spiritual anatomy. Esther Hicks, the channel. Her later life prominence rests in translating non-physical insight into grounded guidance. Archetypal thread. The healer no longer fixes. She transmutes. She stands at the threshold between worlds, translator, midwife of transformation. Entrepreneurs, the sovereign, the architect. Vera Wang, the late-blooming architect. She built an empire not from youth, but from precision, discipline, and reinvention. Oriana Huffington, the phoenix. After burnout, she rose again, creating a new paradigm around well-being and success. Sarah Blakely, the disruptor. Though success began earlier, her sustained influence and expansion matured with age and confidence. Archetypal thread. The entrepreneur becomes sovereign. She is no longer building to prove. She is building to express power, vision, and legacy. Performers, the queen, the shapeshifter. Helen Mirren, the queen. Commanding, sensual, unafraid. She embodies authority without apology. Viola Davis, the truth-bearer. Her performances strip away illusion, raw, human, undeniable. Meryl Streep, the shapeshifter. In later life, she expands rather than contracts, inhabiting complexity with ease. Jamie Lee Curtis, the reclaimed woman. Her later acclaim reflects authenticity, aging openly, speaking plainly, refusing illusion. Archetypal thread. The performer no longer performs for approval. She becomes the mirror. The audience recognizes themselves in her truth. There is a deeper pattern. Across all four paths and something ancient stirs. The oracle speaks. The alchemist transforms. The sovereign builds. The queen embodies. And beneath them all, a unifying current. The woman who no longer negotiates her existence. Menopause, then, is not a closing door. It is the moment the inner court falls silent. And the true voice steps forward. Not louder, but undeniable. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe to my content. With much love and gratitude. Plenty blessings. Jayne.